Good evening, Bookies. My name is Hannah, and welcome back to Top 10 Tuesdays. So today's topic is top 10 books I want to reread. And I just want to put out there right now that I am horrible at rereading, but since I've been out of my slump, I've kind of been wanting to drift back to the things that I've read before and possibly reread them. So I want to reread most of these books for different reasons. Like some of them I want to reread because I've forgotten most of what happened in it, and others I just want to reread for like the nostalgic of it, the nostalgia. So yeah, let's just get right into it. The first book I have is The Lost Hero by Rick Riordan. I want to read the Heroes of Olympus, right? Yes, the Heroes of Olympus series. I've read the first one and I'm like partway through the second one. I don't even remember what's going on in the second one. But I want to reread this so maybe I can just go through all of them and actually finish with the series, because the Percy Jackson series is one of my favorite series and it should be that I would love the Heroes of Olympus. So hopefully I'll be able to pick it up and reread it. So the second book I have is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I don't really remember much of this book, only that I loved it. That's the only thing that I remember from this book, and like Levi, I kind of just loved Levi. I thought he was an interesting character. So hopefully I'll be able to pick this again up soon because I kind of miss it and I own two of them, so I should probably know a little bit more about these books than I actually do. The next one is another contemporary book, and that is Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. This is the kind of book where I just want to reread it again so I can read like Lola and The Boy Next Door and Isla and The Happily Ever After. I'd like to read them in succession instead of like months or years apart, and I haven't read this since 11th grade, so it's been quite a while. It's been about 3 or 4 years since I've read this book. I would like to pick it up again and, love it as I did back then. The next book I have is more nostalgia's sake. I want to read it just because it is a big part of what helped me grow as a reader, and is like one of the first books I remember reading that turned me into what I am today, and that is the Maximum Ride series by James Patterson. I love this series so much. My stepmom let me borrow them from her years and years ago. It was when I was blind, but I thought I was like not blind enough that I wouldn't need glasses, so I had reading glasses. That's the first memory I have of me reading, is I had these little reading glasses on my face and I was just carving right through the Maximum Ride series. The only thing I do remember, another thing I do remember, is I was reading them in the wrong order. I read, what one did I read first? The first one I read was School's Out Forever, and then I read The Angel Experiment, when you're supposed to switch the two. So I was like kind of confused, but I was also like, oh, maybe this is just, backstory that you don't get to see. And then my stepmom was like, you're reading them in the wrong order, and I was like, of course I am. So yeah, I would like to pick up the series again. I haven't read the last and final book of the series because I'm just not prepared for it emotionally. There's been so many things that have happened in these books. You guys have no ideas. There's been such betrayals. Oh, the death. Oh, the death. And yeah, I was thinking about this book the other day because I watched the movie because it's on Netflix, and my little sister was like, hey Hannah, have you watched this Maximum Ride movie? Because I own this, and then I also own the manga, which is amazing, by the way. I was watching the movie and the whole time I was just like, no. I don't know, the characters were a little off. They should not have been so, they should have been more like, let's try to keep it in character, guys. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling about this, and let's just move on to our next book. The next book I want to reread, so maybe that'll get me into the mood to finish the rest of the series, because it's a huge series, and everything is happening, and there's a TV show, and I've only read the first book, and everyone's read all of them, and I'm always like, I need to catch up so bad, and that is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I've only read this one, and I want to read it again, and then get to the second one. I read this before I watched the TV series, and then the TV series moved on, and like me and Emilia were watching the TV series for a while, but at one point I was like, no, we have to stop. I haven't seen this. I don't know, like, I feel like I'm cheating. Like, cheating on a test. I went to the future, saw what the answers were, and then went back in time. Nah. So I am hopefully going to pick this up again. So yeah, I'm hopefully going to get on this soon. The next book I want to reread because I loved it. And I don't remember every detail of it, but I remember enough to know, again, that I loved it. And there's a recipe in this book, FYI. And I made the recipe one time and I not bombed it. I did great. It was amazing. I just don't think anyone else liked it. So that book is The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. She has the recipe for November cakes in this book, and I've cooked them twice, and it's like from scratch, people. Like, you cannot get any more from scratch than what this recipe is. And yeah, I did pretty good. I made them twice, and my older sister loved them, so that's always a plus. Hi, Addie, if you're watching this. I want to reread this book just because I liked this book and I love the premise of it. And I remember thinking, wow, this book is small. I need another book. Like, I need a second installment to this book. There's no second book to this, guys, okay? Let's just put it there. So yeah, the next book I want to read, because I don't remember anything. I remember a little bit, but not enough. And it's being turned into a movie next year, so I kind of feel like I should kind of brush up a little bit on it and get to know the characters and how the characters should act, if you get what I'm saying. So this book is The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. This is being turned into a movie. I think I said that in a previous video, and that's very exciting. I just think I should reread this to know where the movie strays from the book, because you can't expect a perfect adaptation anymore, I guess. You can't expect it. And I also want to read the second and third book, because if this movie does fine, then there's going to be a second and third movie, and I don't want to be scrabbling to catch up before I watch the movie, if you get what I'm saying. So, the next book I want to read because the last one came out, and I haven't read the last one, but I've read the first, the second, and the third, so I'm going to reread all three of those books, but this only counts as one on this list. That is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I want to reread the Lunar Chronicles because I love the unicorns. The Lunar Chronicles, and I absolutely love this series. I love the twist that is on, like, the fairy tales. I love the whole twist about them. And again, this is kind of the case where I read, you know, Cinder and Scarlet and Cress, and then I had to wait a year for Winter to come out, and I never picked up Winter. I own it, but I haven't picked it up to read. So I want to kind of reread all of these to get to Winter. The ninth book I have is the Fablehaven series by Brandon Mull. I own Dragon Watch now, which is kind of a spin-off, and I've heard that Kendra and Seth are in Dragon Watch, so that just makes me so much more excited to read it. But this is kind of a nostalgic thing for me, and I loved Fablehaven to death. I loved it to death, and so I really want to pick it up again. I've started rereading it again. It was a while ago, but not long enough ago that I forgot everything that's happening in it. And so yeah, I'm gonna probably start reading this. This is a goal for next year. I want to at least read the first 3 books of Fablehaven over again. And the 10th and final book, I hope you guys don't find this as a surprise of why I want to reread this book / series. It's a series. And it is City Bones by Cassandra Clare. It is the Mortal Instruments series. Guys, I don't remember anything that happened in these books. I know, that's horrible, but I started reading these in like 8th grade. It had to have been 7th or 8th grade, because I remember seeing Clockwork Angel and thinking to myself, I need to find something new to read after City of Fallen Angels or City of Glass. And, it's been so long, and I feel like at this point, the only thing I know about this book is the Clary and Jace situation, and then kind of the Simon and the Isabel situation, and the Magnus and Alex situation. I don't know anything else. I remember like little snippets of scenes and stuff like that, and that's awful because I love this series, and I know so many people love the series, so this is number 1 on my reread list. This is it. I'm going to start rereading this. I promise. It's probably going to be soon and with new eyes, because I don't remember a thing, so it's like I'm reading it for the first time. So that is it for Top 10 Tuesdays, episode 5. Thank you so much for joining me. Also, I hope you all had a wonderful Merry Christmas. I will see you guys in the next video, so Friday, and I hope you guys have a good night. Rock on. Hey guys, I'm Hannah at Heckyeahbooks, and today me and my sister, who you are going to meet in just a few seconds, we are doing the siblings tag. So she is sitting behind the camera.